Welcome, listeners, to episode 62 of Two Peas in a Pod. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, as always, onto the hobby desk. Not done a lot myself, but Ben's got loads of faces to talk about. Then we head into the galaxy of war, and we're very excited. It's been Reveals Day, so there's some cracking stuff to talk about there, and also in the Mortal Realms. Community is back to our normal shout-outs with some awesome stuff to tell you about, for you two guys to look out. And then we go into the wilds, where we talk a little bit about, after some consideration of what to talk about, 3D printing the Loot Room guys. So Loot Room Studios, or Loot Studios? Loot Studios? I don't know. Find out when you get to the wilds. Thanks for joining us. Grab those refreshments. See you on the hobby desk.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 62's Hobby Desk. It's just Dan and I today, so fortunately we haven't got someone awesome with us to talk about their hobby. You're just going to have to do with us, I'm afraid. So it's been 2 weeks rather than it has been previously. So have you got up to much hobby, dude?
No. That was quick. No. So
it's been a terrible week, isn't it?
I've really enjoyed it, but it hasn't been good from a hobby point of view. No. It's so sort of the back end of last week, I started the process of easing into covering a role at work that is particularly busy, incredibly busy, and has led into doing some very long days and basically getting to the hobby room and thinking, you know what, one more flight of stairs and I'd be in bed. And that's about it. So yeah, not a great deal of hobby. I think just after we recorded last, literally after we'd finished recording, I got out some
Light Kings?
No, I was working on them anyway last time. It's not Rust Streaks. What's the one that we use? We're like mad about now. Streaking Grime. I got some Streaking Grime and got that on the Blight Kings a bit. Did a bit of sort of weathering and bit of shizzle on there. I mean, I'm chuffed with them. Really chuffed. They're at the stage now. I just really need to work on the skin. So their bases are almost ready. I've done some Nurglings to put on their bases and stuff. So yeah, I just need to finish off their skin. I don't think I had done last time. No, I hadn't, because I was talking about it, wasn't I, to James? So I've almost done Luke Skywalker now. Yeah. With the contrast paints. I mean, not exactly the most technical dude in the world to paint in his black, but a couple of different colours of black.
Yeah, I was going to say it's quite technical in some ways, because there's a couple of different kinds of black on him. Like there's the fabric black, there's the shiny leather black. It's
the only time I find that I actually use Abaddon black is when I want to do like a shiny leather black. Yeah, so he's sort of done almost. What else have I done? I've printed you some ravens.
Yeah.
So found some ravens, or Ben, you found some ravens, didn't you? But they were on like a little perch, so I shoved them into mesh mixture. Mesh mixer. Yay! And cut the supports out from under their feet. And this is the absolute joy of 3D printing. I then took them into the printing program, the slicer, clicked one button which mirrored it, so now we've got one looking one way and one looking the other, so that's different, and then resized them to 3 different sizes, so they're all different sizes as well. Oh, amazing. It's just amazing. I love it. So printed them, they came out real nice. They are actually bagged up ready to send to you, but I was waiting on your birthday present because I didn't want to send 2 parcels, because that would have been twice as much money to send. So that'll wing its way down, and you can put them on something awesome with some. Although really, you ought to have green stuffed your own ravens, really, because you're like pushing the envelope on that.
I've never sculpted. I've never sculpted anything from scratch. It intimidates me a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
I quite like the idea of sculpting, like a human from scratch to do sort of role play kind of models.
Oh yeah.
Practicing the basic textures like chainmail and fur. Do lots of fur. But,
yes.
But starting from an armature and working my way up, never something I've done. I might give it a go at some point.
Challenge is on. So yeah, Luke's done. So I need to finish off the Blight Kings. I'm going to try and do them. I'm on annual leave now. Well, almost now. Bit of stuff to do tomorrow, but then I'm on to annual leave. So I'm. Don't worry. I'll just edit out you crunch and your Pringles.
Yeah, you will.
So yeah, I need to finish them up, the Blight Kings off, because like it's funny, isn't it, how life just rides Rothschild over one's plans.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I started the month. Well, no, I didn't. It wasn't even. It was still December. It was last year, and I was like, right, I'm going to get these Blight Kings. I was going to get them done before January, and then do like another set of Blight Kings and a hero. And actually, those same Blight Kings are still not done. And it's like the 23rd of January today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to crack on. I'll tell you what I've done with those, which I might have mentioned this before. Who knows? But I'm painting them with the painting handles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I go through these epiphanies. If you go back a few episodes, you'll hear it again. Where I'm like, yeah, painting handles, and then a few episodes later, nah, not into them. But right now, it's a painting handles moment.
I don't think I can't remember painting a model without a painting handle now for ages.
Yeah,
I can't remember painting a model without a painting handle.
I need to get on and just finish off a couple of bits. I've got like a few War Master bits that are just like almost finished, but then I got distracted by something else, unsurprisingly, and. Bum, bum, bum. My Space Marines. You can't see because of my crazy background thing I've done.
That's cool.
I think you get the point. So for those of you that can't see this, which is everyone, because we don't video it, I got the Interdiction Force. I coerced some family members into putting in some money. So I got the Interdiction Force, which I'm going to do up for, as I've already said, for my Rift Stalkers. I've just been before we started recording, I was just messaging Chris and sort of brainstorming some background and like names for the characters and stuff. And I like the idea that like a little Gladius cruiser commanded by the basically it's like a human serfs, but there are 3 Space Marines on there that are eliminators, and they essentially like hunt out ways through the Cicatrix Maledictum, and they basically act like eliminators but in a spaceship and go around. And then they found this like safe route, and they found Obscura, so they've landed on Obscura and they've sent back a pulse to like the main cruiser, which is now coming in. But even that is like, it's just like a strike, or maybe like a trimmed down strike cruiser, sort of like Grey Knight-esque strike cruiser, if you remember that from Forge World.
Yeah.
That then follows in after, which is like a demi company maybe, with the captain and the Phobos and stuff, and then they come down and do a bit more of a scouting force because they've sensed that like enemy ships are coming in. And then like back behind that, you've got like the next level, and like a strike cruiser comes in with like heavy intercessors and stuff. And then once they establish it is a way through, the big guns come in, and it's like the Blade Guard come out, and it's just butt kickings going down.
It gives you a kind of painting plan as well.
It does. Although as I said last time, I want to paint some salamanders. So I think I'm thinking now, after today's reveals, which we'll get onto in a minute, I'm thinking that, like, you know, the new Kill Team thing.
Yeah.
I could do those heavy intercessors as salamanders. There's only 5 of them.
Yeah.
And what's really annoying is I opened this Interdiction Force, right? It is just loaded with Ultramarines transfers, and I'm like, oh, I want to do the Ultramarines. And I'm like, damn it, just do the bloody Riftstalkers, crying out loud. I want to do them because they're cool.
It's really hard though, isn't it? You got choosing a chapter is
Space Marines are the worst for it. They're absolute worst for it because
they're also different.
They are different, but so many of them look ace.
Mm.
And when you think there's 1,000 chapters and there's only the Space Wolves that you can go, no, they're shit and I don't want them. So that leaves you 999 other options.
Well, there was 1,000 chapters.
Oh no, yeah, that's of course. There's more now.
They don't really know anymore how many they are because
the
Primaris or whatever the founding was. There's a lot of hard and fast rules that have been gone, like how big a company should be. I haven't specifically read anywhere what Gilliman feels about how big a company should be now.
Well, I
not
think
that I've ever cared because I'm a Space Wolf and they never cared.
Yeah.
So it's anywhere between like 50 and 150, and it's like,
yeah, I don't think he can be drawn on it. I'm sure I have read somewhere that like when asked, he doesn't get, because ultimately there are so many successors of the Ultramarines who all see him as liege that he could just click his fingers and he'd be like, yeah, legions. That ain't nothing on this.
I think the problem from reading the books that I've read with him in, he is upset to a degree that the Codex Astartes has been turned into a religious doctrine.
Yeah,
when it was only supposed to be a guideline, which is really interesting, I think. But I sometimes wonder if with the squads they haven't gone almost the other way. For example, a tactical squad layout is a very sensible layout, and I don't see why a Primaris squad can't be like that. Personally,
yeah,
I'd like to see that special weapon, 8 bolt rifles, and like a Primaris heavy bolter or something. We all want it, so why don't we have it? We all want it.
It's like it's funny that you should mention them on like guidelines, because I was talking to someone at work the other day about something, and I said, yeah, but the thing is, you've got to remember it's more like guidelines, like in that film, and I couldn't remember what the film was. And then when I looked it up, it's bloody Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not very in depth. That's like so what I've actually done is tried to illustrate my point in work by referencing pirates. Brilliant. So yeah, not loads of output hobby wise, but what I have done is read the first trilogy of Caiaphas Cain. I've read Caiaphas Cain before, but I wasn't sure quite how far I'd read through it. Do you know what Caiaphas Cain is?
Yeah.
So
Flashman. Yeah.
So he's like the Flashman type, Blackadder-esque.
Yeah.
Commissar. It's just so good. It's just so funny, and
Did you read these or listen to them?
Read them. I'm reading them on the iPad.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
So I've read the first trilogy. Absolutely super. Really good. Loved it.
You've read a trilogy of books in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Goodness
when I actually bother to read, I read quite quickly and quite a lot. It's not a massive.
It's not like reading Lord of the Rings.
No, it's only, I think it was about 900 pages, something like that. So it isn't like
for the whole trilogy.
Yeah, they're only little books.
Well, that's like 3 short stories, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's difficult to know on the iPad because you can adjust it.
Yeah, I can't read.
So I don't really know how many pages it was because I just had it adjusted quite small. So yeah, they were really good. And then I've been given for my birthday this Bloodlines, which is, again, this was a great idea, this background, until I wanted to show you something. But anyway, Bloodlines. So it's one of the Warhammer crime novels set in the Hive, which I thought I'd really enjoy because I really like that kind of thing. Like I love John Grisham and his kind of conspiracy-esque sort, like working out what's going on, investigatory.
Yeah,
that's even a word. Books. So I'm, that, but with.
Have you started
weapons. It? Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. Great. It's real necromundery as well because it's obviously in a Hive world.
Yeah,
and it's it's Chris Wright, and I think Chris Wright is just.
Brilliant. I really rate Chris Wright. Right.
Yeah. But he really sets the scene well in the sort of opening few pages when it's like it's this girl who's like obviously gone like down into the like underhivey bit, and he's talking about like all the neon signs, and there's music pumping out, and there's people like out of their brains on these random exotic narcotics, and he's like describing the sort of smells and the heat and all the hustle and bustle, and it just it puts me a little bit in. It's a bit like how Star Wars did the kind of cantina and the kind of
what in the episode 2.
Is it episode 2? Yeah,
where they're chasing the bounty hunter shapeshifter.
Yeah, and it's just really.
I was thinking more like Blade Runner actually.
And Blade. Yeah, I mean it's much darker, obviously, than Star Wars. But I suppose what I meant was more around the setting, the real kind of the realism, I suppose, which I like. Similar. I guess a better comparison would be like Eisenhorn books.
Oh, I love Eisenhorn books.
Yeah. So
I can't wait for them to be on television.
It's really good.
Hmm.
It's brilliant, actually. So not done a lot, but still managed to natter on for 10 minutes. So what about you? You've been painting faces.
Well, I've been painting faces only in that when I assembled my Space Wolves, must be 10 years ago, apparently I liked putting bare heads instead of helmets. So out of roughly a squad of say 10, I reckon 2 have got helmets mostly. The rest haven't. So I've had to paint faces, which has been really cool.
That is so you. I used to build all of my Space Marines with helmets because I didn't want to paint flesh.
Yeah, but this is so backgroundy for the Space Wolves to feel like trapped in their helmet. Although I do, if I get a chance now, put their helmet on their belt when I'm building models. So if there's room on the belt on an intercessor, I'll put the helmet on, because as much as Space Wolves senses are much better with their helmet off than auto senses, which just goes to say a lot for a Space Wolves senses, but their helmets are definitely stronger than their skulls. So I'm pretty sure when they're wading into...
They're not orcs.
No. So, yeah. So I've actually painted an awful lot the last couple of weeks because I've had to quarantine, which has been rubbish in some ways, but it's meant that I've got like an extra 2 hours back, and I haven't been able to go running because I'm not allowed to leave the house. So I've gained a lot of time back. So in the last 2 weeks, I painted...
Are you not even allowed to like leave the house to do your daily exercise?
Not if you're quarantined.
Not if you're isolating. Oh, okay.
Well, apparently not. And to be honest, I wouldn't do it anyway, because where I go running, which is on the trail down at the bottom,
it's public area.
It's public, and it's absolutely packed with dog walkers and whatnot. So it's just not sensible. And so the first thing I got done was the Primaris chaplain from Indomitus. The conversion I did. Really chuffed with that.
Oh, me, that is just absolutely amazing. I just love it.
Yeah, I was really happy with how he came out painted as well, because there's always a little bit of nervousness that your green stuff won't work painted, which is something that people don't often, I don't think, consider, that it's quite easy to green stuff detail onto a model that just doesn't look anything like you wanted it to when you paint it.
Yeah.
there has to be enough surface area to take paint and highlight it and do all of the things that you would do, which I think is a learning curve for me. Then I'm really chuffed with how he turned out. I tried some new stuff on the black. So I had sort of shading it in inverted commas with brown. Used Mornfang Brown to shade it.
Oh yeah, we were discussing that, I think, when you did it.
Yeah, to try and add a bit more colour into the black, sort of warm him up a bit. And then I used, is it something scale? Stegodon green or something? What's that called? I can see it. I'll get it off myself. Yeah, Stegodon scale green as the first highlight, rather than, because it's got a bit more green in than Inky by Darkness, I thought. A little bit warmer. And then Skaven Bright Dinge, because that's a grey, a browny grey as well. So I just tried to make the whole armour a bit warmer, and I think it worked really well. So,
I really like the Skaven-esque named greys. Storm Vermin Fur, Skaven Blight Dinge, and Eshin Grey.
They've got a bit more brown in. They're really good.
Yeah, they're really nice. Really good. Yeah. Very nice for, like, organics as well.
Yeah. So, yeah. Good for hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when people, if you paint an old hair, which because I've done a load of faces, I love painting natural things, and when I do that, I always try and use that opportunity to get variety across the unit. We've spoken about this a lot before, but if I've got, so I've painted 36 Grey Hunters in the last in the last two weeks, taking them from sort of half done to finished. And I'm super chuffed with that. I've probably at least 20, 25 of those were bare heads. And there's not 25 bare-headed Space Wolf heads. So you get duplicates. So the way to solve that is to paint them different colours, just from an aesthetic point of view. But I've been playing with all sorts of different colours, and I've used Skaven Bright Dinge a lot on the hair rather than the colder greys, because it looks like brown hair going grey rather than just grey hair, which doesn't make a great deal of sense to me. And I don't think it looks right when I painted it before. I just don't think it looks right. So I was quite happy with that. So that's the second thing I've done, is I've finished off. I've just got the final highlight to do on the armour of 8 guys, and then do the filter, the brown filter, enamel filter on them, and then the OSL, because I tend to do the sort of the greens and the blues after I've put the brown. Otherwise, it doesn't work, because you want the bright colours in the recesses. You don't want to darken that down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're done, which is sweet. Which will be that huge batch that I started many months ago, finished.
Oh wow!
Really
That's
exciting.
Fantastic.
And I also got Nell Stormcaller done.
Oh yeah,
for the weekend.
Which one? The old one or the Terminator one?
The Terminator one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I've been trying to paint like a character at the weekend, and this weekend I've got Ulrich the Slayer lined up to do tomorrow.
The new one.
Yeah.
Oh, such a nice model.
I'm leaving the older metal ones to do when I do my 30-year anniversary army.
Yeah.
So I said to Jay, like, I got the tray of all my sort of characters next to me, and I was like, pick a character for me to do at the weekend, and she chose Nell Stormcaller, and I was like, fine, cool.
Yeah, he's
great model. Although it did remind me of why metal. I know a lot of people love metal models. I do too. Get some great detail out of them. They're really robust, but my God, does paint chip off of them easy. There is a good millimeter of varnish on the ears of his wolf pelt now, because it's chipped off so many times.
Yeah.
Just by gently rubbing it against something before it was completely dry. So, very frustrating. But I've had a blast. I'm so close to finishing Ragnar's Astartes company and having that done now. That really exciting. I've been planning my Ragnar Blackmane Astartes conversion, which is going to really strongly steal from Tommy Sewell's idea, but I got the added advantage now of the new plastic Ragnar Blackmane, so I can get the head and just stick it on Dragon Gaze's model, and then put the chainsaw on, and you basically got Ragnar, for being honest. So,
Yeah.
And I'm umming and ahhing about the back banners because I don't have a great deal of back banners in my Space Wolves. I use the kind of little wolf skull trophy rack things, and
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
more than a back banner, so I probably won't do back banners for him. So yeah, that's on the plan. Unfortunately, that conversion is elevating expensive. It's got to buy Ragnar Blackmane because no one seems to sell his head separately, for obvious reasons, and buy Crom Dragon Grey separately, which is that's like 40 quid for your company captain. But this,
I'm
Blackmane,
surprised that no one has, because you see a lot of conversions of it.
it's just a helmet, yeah. But people, I've been on eBay a few times, and I suppose it's luck of the draw when you go on. I guess be nice to find a head just on its own. That'd be useful. And the chainsaw Frostfang, so you don't have to paint Frostfang on the blade. It's already sculpted in.
Yeah.
Make it nice and easy for yourself. So yeah, I've been super busy with it. But this week, probably I'm pondering Terminators or Wolfguard this week. I think probably Terminators. It's been long enough not having those Terminators painted. And Wolfguard Terminators are just amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing kit. So I think I might do Terminators this week, which would be cool. And then I really, really do need to get Ragnar sorted. Because all I've got after that is my bikers and my tanks. And the odd one or two Wolfguards. So, and then that company is done. And then I can move on. I can sort of shelve the Astartes half of the army. Okay, that's that bit done, and move on to the Primaris half of the army, and have it so that they transition over. It's going to be amazing.
So many. It's amazing.
Yeah,
that's great. Ace.
I mean, I could argue that if you at a specific point in Ragnar Company's history, there might have been 200 in there somewhere. 100 Astartes, 100 Primaris, yeah.
Well, if at any time, it would be when the Primaris all sort of rocked up first.
Yeah, maybe. The Space Wolves didn't welcome them with particularly open arms, though. They had to prove themselves first.
Yeah.
Like I guess almost every other chapter. But yeah, so I've had a blast.
Good.
It's been nice because I really hate working from home. I hate it so much. I've always had a really clear work-life balance when it comes to medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like bringing that home at all.
No.
Don't like having difficult conversations in the house where I think the kids might be listening. I don't like bringing that emotion into the house. I just don't like doing it. It used to be that I walked home from A&E, and by the time I was home, it was done, finished. And now it's the drive. I get in the car and I get out the other end, and work is at work.
Yeah.
So I just hate it. I hate working at home. The first week I worked at home, when lockdown started in March last year, and we were basically, while we were sorting out how we could see people, and work in the same environment with each other, we were periodically working at home. And I did not sleep well that night at all. I didn't. I just couldn't. So I'm supposed to be getting better at it. But what it does mean is that I can, almost the way I've been sort of doing that transition is I've been shutting down my computer when I finished all my work, and I've been getting the models straight out and painting something.
Yeah.
And that kind of painting something is my kind of release period in between. And then when I've painted something for sort of 45 minutes or so, I'm going out and seeing the family. So I'm not just walking straight out the door, out of the study door.
That's a good idea.
Helpful, actually. But the self-control to do my work from home at the same desk as all my models. I don't know how like the Warhammer community team do it. I really don't. I don't know how they do it. I just because I'd be sat and just painted, just so hard.
Yeah,
but there we are.
There we are. Now I'm quite keen to move on now into the Galaxy of War because we have decided to record today, despite the busyness of times at the moment, because it has been an awesome preview and there is shizzle to talk about. So, without further ado,
Galaxy of War.
Into the Galaxy of War. Welcome, listeners, to the grim darkness of the far future, and you better have some serious faith in the Emperor, or you are going to be pounded into the ground. And that is it, really, isn't it?
Yep, that's it. Let's go in.
That's it. We're done. We're done. So, it has been reveal day. Woohoo! More reasons to throw money at stuff. Woohoo! And it's been quite interesting because there's just been stuff that, well, I don't know about you, but I was not expecting those Battle Sister exosuit things.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Hindsight is 2020. So when they were talking about blood and fury, or blood and purity, or something, or whatever the catchphrase was, what are they going on about?
What are you talking about now? Oh, what
Dead
it was
and the,
called?
Dead and the
Dead
Divine.
And the Divine, yeah.
I didn't peg Divine as being the Sisters of Battle.
No.
But there you go. It was the Sisters of Battle. I really like it.
Do you know what? I reckon what it needs, because I said to you, like, it hasn't like leapt out at me at this stage, as cool as it is. It would really benefit from like a nice conversion, making it dynamic.
Yeah.
I think it's the sort of thing that could be real dynamic. But they're cool. They're cool. It's nice to see something different and fresh. And it's quite exciting that, like, it says 2021 will see even more reinforcements on the way for your Sister of Battle. And it's called a Paragon Warsuit, which is a bloody awesome name, isn't it? Really? So we're just getting started for Adeptus Sororitas in 2021. Your faith will be rewarded even further.
Well, that's the cool thing, isn't it? They're now outside of the blueprint that was Sisters of Battle previously. They've already sort of deviated a little bit with a couple of the character models and whatnot, but that's a completely new thing.
They're real nice.
Sense. You know, I don't really. It makes complete sense to have a battle suit.
Yeah,
for every kind of high-tech Imperial army. Grey Knights have one. Space Marines have one.
Even the Guard have Sentinels.
Even the Guard have Sentinels. You know, so
yeah.
Having some form of war suit for the Sisters of Battle just makes complete sense.
Yeah,
and the aesthetic is sleek, fits the Sisters of Battle kind of silhouette. I know Jess Goodwin likes to use that term phrase, but it does. It fits their silhouette. But it's got those little bits on it which are reminiscent of the Knight. You know, like the shoulder trims and stuff, and the shoulder pads.
If anything, it's actually a little bit understated for Sisters of Battle when you consider, like, the Exorcist tank, for example,
which is basically a walking cathedral organ.
Yeah,
driving cathedral organ. Yeah, no, you're right. I like the kind of bit at the top. It reminds me of the Custodes dreadnoughts quite a lot. So it ties it into that kind of, you know, religious kind of emperor and strong affinity. I really like it. And, you know, that kind of mini arm thing, it's a totally... I love Appleseed, so people just need to get over it. I'm sorry. Watch Appleseed and get over it, because they all do it. The only thing that we haven't seen that kind of awesome battlesuit has in those kind of things is that the troopers who wear them hold a gun in their hands that actually fires, and then the mech that they're piloting holds the same, but like 50 times the size. So they're just, it's just wicked.
Oh yeah, there's one in the video that's a bit more dynamic, that looks real nice. Oh, and I don't know if you spied it, but in the sort of cartoony bit where at the beginning of the video, there's a bit where there's a sister wearing one, but wings come out. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
That is very exciting. Oh, I've changed my mind. I like it. Right. Well,
And the helmet's
not that I didn't like it, but
I would have the helmeted version every time.
yeah, me too.
To be honest,
To be honest, the main reason for that though is because I couldn't have a model with a woman giving me that stare because it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. What are you shaking your head for?
I'm shaking my head. Yeah, it's quite a stare, isn't it? I like the arms.
Well, only because, if I get that stare off Harriet, I'm fleeing. I am fleeing. Going out the door. It's a bit like, like when you see those cats and they get frightened and then they go, woo! Just go mental. That's my reaction.
Is there melter guns on her shoulders? Or flamethrowers?
Or bolt weapons.
Or bolt weapons.
Don't know. More guns.
Yeah, I think what will be interesting is seeing how it lines itself up with the arms. Because one of the things that I've started to notice is the little subtle details, like on the infiltrators or the incursor kits, that I had noticed when they first came out, that their backpack thingy points in the direction that their head is looking.
Yeah, that's great.
And I love that. I love that. Really do. I really like her. I think it's going to be an awesome addition to the Sisters of Battle. It's going to add that kind of mid-size or larger size kind of variation model in there that isn't a tank. And I personally think they've nailed the aesthetic just right. I can't see another way that they could do arms on a model like that Sister of Battle. How she'd get her arms into a sort of war suit and it would make sense. I can't see another way of doing it. No. And I think it looks great. And you could argue, background-wise, that there's a power shield covering them, which would make perfect sense. So it wouldn't be the first time.
Well, yeah, to be honest, Space Marines do it all the time, and they've got Sisters Battle got power armor.
Yeah. I got told this when I was just getting into the hobby. I've got to admit, I've never actually read it. But a staff member at Games Workshop told me that Space Marine sergeants could not wear helmets because they had little power fields that covered their heads. It's probably nonsense, but I always
sounds like the sort of thing that you would say to an 11-year-old who was like, yeah, but he doesn't have a helmet on. And you'd be like, yeah, but he's cool. So he has a power shield, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
So, I need to talk about the Pariah Nexus kill team.
Yeah.
Oh, heavy intercessors, man.
Yeah, they're sweet, aren't they?
Is that the first time we've seen plastic flayed ones?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And it's the first time we've seen a Chronomancer, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
The flayed ones are horrible. They're everything that they should be.
Yeah.
Really...
they are, because what they've done as well is they've incorporated that sort of falling apart element of the new kit, new Necron Warrior kit, where they're sort of falling apart a bit. Yeah, they are. They're brilliant, aren't they? They're hideous. Hideousness. And the Chronomancer's brilliant. I love him.
The only thing
on there is he ain't got legs, has he? He's floating on a load of tentacles.
Yeah.
That makes me think of the squid things in The Matrix.
Yeah. I love his staff. That's my favourite bit.
Yeah.
And the little box he's holding in his hand, because you're like, what on earth does that do? Yeah, it's good. Only model I don't like is the captain. And I don't know why. It just doesn't look comfortable in the positions he's in. It doesn't... Maybe it's the angle that the photo is shot at. But his body
I like
position...
him.
No.
He just looks like he's posing.
Yeah, he does. That's what I put. It looks like he's posing for a photograph rather than in a natural position. I don't know. I think sometimes what I usually find with these kind of thing is that once I see it in 3 dimensions, it makes sense. And getting a photograph where you've got all of the detail in, sometimes I think means you miss out on some of the structure of the model, personally. But the heavy intercessors are just
every single one of them has a cool pose. I love.
Yeah.
There's quick, shoot that, and then there's right. Okay, I've got a big bolt gun and I'm gonna shoot it. Amy Man, reloading guy. I mean, what the hell?
I love the reloading guy.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it is the multi-part kit, apparently, isn't it? I think they said that in the stream, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you watch the stream?
No, I didn't.
No, I sort of watched a little bit of it, but I was in the middle of writing emails.
Yeah, I love them. Yeah. They're great. My concern with it is the price of the box, to be honest, because I think we got spoiled a little bit with the last couple Kill Team boxes, where you had all that scenery in. This is a handful of scenery and 12 models and a book. I would be very upset if that was over 50 quid. I've got to say it. I wouldn't buy it if it was over 50 quid. I'd probably look at getting the heavy intercessors separately when they come out later. My worry is it's going to be 80 quid, and I think that would really hurt. That would be. There's some, sometimes when you look at like when they brought out the original Kill Team box, that was a no-brainer. In fact, I bought two because of the scenery in it. It was worth the two just for the scenery. In fact, it was worth the two for half the scenery in some ways. There was so much in it. And that was 80 quid. Whereas, when you've got 12 models in a book and what is effectively an objective pack.
The problem is, mate, and the reason that it might be more than 50 quid is a Space Marine Captain is like 20 quid. And then a Chronomancer's like 17.50. The Heavy Intercessors would be 30 quid because they're like Terminators looking. The Flayed ones, I don't really know how to price those. Then you've got a rule book and terrain. I'm agreeing. I agree with you. Like, just looking at it, especially, I don't know if you've looked at the picture of the contents, but when you look at the game board with the models on, it doesn't feel like there's a lot there.
No.
And therefore, like yourself, I think over 50 quid would seem steep. But actually, if you break it down into its components, you can see the pricing guys sitting there at their desks going, yeah, that adds up to be 80 quid or whatever.
I can fully understand the argument. I can fully understand the argument, but I do feel that when it comes to a box set release, it either grabs me or it doesn't, and that will grab me for like 50 quid.
Yeah.
But if it's 80, I'd struggle.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's a bit, if it was the push fit models, I think we might see it be less because it could go into like anywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it would be far more exciting to scroll down slightly.
Oh, mate, this is just, yeah. The Titan. It's just when I first saw the picture of the leg, I was like, is that going to be an Imperator? And it took me about 15 seconds to work out that I didn't really mind. It doesn't matter. If there's a new Titan, that's epic. If it's the Imperator, that's epic. When I saw it, I realized I was even more excited by this than I was if it was an Imperator Titan.
Yeah, because it's different. And
it's different. It's just fabulous.
What I love about it actually is, you are right in as much as it is brand new to the battlefields and stuff. It harkens back to some of the original concept art for the original Titanicus. And
that's what they're working from, isn't it?
That's it. I remember like 4 years ago when we went to Warhammer Fest before Titanicus, the year before the one where we went and they had all loads of Titanicus and it was very exciting. They showed off some of the sketches and things, and there was something like this. But yeah, I mean, it is just immense. And I love all the little anti-aircraft guns sticking out the top of it, and it's brilliant. It is brilliant.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And the little scale thing that came with it, just showing like
yes
how everything scales.
It looks
And
like
how-
it could do with a bit bigger base, though, doesn't it? You think it's like it's only just on that base,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well, what is exciting when you see that and see how big that is compared to the Warlord is if they did an Imperator, it's going to be massive. It's going to be absolutely.
The thing is, in
massive.
truth, there's very little argument for them not to do one.
An Imperator, no, there isn't. Other than it would unbalance the game. But then one of the coolest bits of Titanicus, the novel, is when the Imperator strides out from the havoc that's going on. And all of the loyalist Titans are like, oh God, that's it. And there's a lot of loyalist Titans. There's like 10 warlords, there's a lot of them there. And the leader's just like, I've forgotten what she's called. It's just like, this isn't happening. We can't beat it. And then his second in command is like, nah, we can, but we'd all have to fire at the exact same point on the void shield at the exact same time. And there's only one way we can do that. And that's if one person commands all of the warlords at once. And then they patch him in on the Oosphere to all the warlords. And I'm sorry if I'm giving away parts of the story to people, but to be the precept of a Titan, the Titan has to trust you. And that can take like a decade, if not longer, before the Titan fully trusts you. And then you have to work your way to that position. And this guy has such a force of will that when all of these other princeps are like, yeah, do it, but you're going to have to convince the Titans to do it. And he comes on, he's like, this is what we're doing. And the Titans are all like, yep. It's an unwritten thing in that, because he talks about how to be a princeps, to even start the training, it's a 1 in a million person. To make it to warlord princeps, that's another 1 in a million. It's to be able to control like 10 warlords all at once, you're talking about like the mental fortitude beyond anything we could almost imagine. And they all fire at one point on this Imperator Titan shield and knock it out and then hit it with everything they've got. It's just sublime. It's absolutely brilliant. And imagine incorporating that kind of rule set where you've got to make like a leadership test or something to multi-control Titans to all fire at the same point on something. It might unbalance the game as the game is now. But I think if they brought in an Imperator, you could say, okay, this bad boy is worth points-wise 5 or 6 warlords or however many, You have to take on a whole army to deal with this Imperator Titan. Because don't get me wrong, it can deal with knights as well. It's not just like it's a massive thing that could clumber around. It's got gun batteries on its legs. It carries a company of space marines in its feet. It's ridiculous.
This thing has got so many guns. It is absurd. Every time I look at it, I find more. There's little missiles in the top.
Yeah.
And then there's missiles under its arms. And then it's got massive, great plasma death guns.
Death guns.
Yeah. I love the fact, I like the scaling. So the knights are grandis, then the Warhand Titan is grandis, then you get Immensus, Magnificus, and then this is Monumentus.
What do you reckon they call the Imperator then? Cathedralus.
Flipping huge. Yeah, Cathedralus. That would be great, wouldn't it?
5.
Yeah, 5. So we're getting another book as well, so that'll look nice on my shelf.
As long as they've lined up the
no, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's wonderful. And of course they're bringing out the Traitor Legion book as well, which they mention at some point. So yeah, another thing that looks fantastic, and it's really tough, and I know it's like ridiculous situation to complain about, but I could literally say now I'm just going to do Titanicus and I'd have a full year.
I love painting my Titans. I absolutely adored it. I love the Warlord model just so much that if there was someone playing Titanicus near me, I could spend every other week playing Titanicus forevermore and be completely happy. I love the scale of it, and the detail that they've managed to get into that scale is just wonderful. Like the railings on the back, like
Yes,
balcony bit on the back of the wall.
I love the little door.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. It kind of asks you to paint it.
Yeah,
You know, like that door. I was just gonna paint it metal and have done with it. And then we were sat doing it together. Do you remember? And you were like, "I'm going to paint like chevrons on mine." I was like, "Ooh, let's paint chevrons." It's so good. It's asking you to add detail into places.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's wonderful.
And there we are. A whistle-stop tour through the excitement to come. Oh, and of course, the Death Guard came out onto pre-order today as well.
With a couple of new models.
And their pizza oven. It's just superb. And yeah, they did get new models. They got a Terminator character with like one of the heavy flamer things.
Mm.
And then the pizza oven thing, which is like the 2 pieces of scenery, which is pretty snazzy.
Pizza oven.
It does look like one, though.
Don't associate pizza with Nurgle.
It is cool.
It's my favourite food. I can't be eating a pizza and thinking of Nurgle.
No, it is. It's ace. I really want to do some Death Guard, man, but I can't do them as well.
Why not?
Because I've got Rift Stalkers I want to do. I want to do Salamanders, I've already said. Then Death Guard.
You don't have to do it now. You think of the grander picture and start making those plans in your mind, because you've done it with Khorne, and it's with Chaos. There is this wonderful opportunity to have crossover armies that, like a decent chunk of your force, you can play 40k or fantasy. And I think that for me has always been one of the best strengths of Chaos. Always has.
Mm.
Especially now when you can have circle bases. Both of them there's no like nothing to stop you from doing it. And I think when your Nurgle army for Age of Sigmar has reached a point where there's loads of, you've got a bunch of demons done and you've got that little core, what's to stopping you just painting a squad of
yeah.
And then you already got an army because you've got
great
a squad
models as well.
Although, like we were just talking about this the other day, that there's a couple of no longer with us, like the easy build ones.
Yeah, loads of them disappearing. Loads of them.
You can get the can you get the Dark Imperium? No, you can't get the Dark Imperium.
No.
The hope is that my hope is
that they'll come along as a start collecting.
Yeah, that they'll do what they did with Age of Sigmar for those.
Mm.
I think it'd be daft not to, because some of those models you just can't get anywhere else.
No, and they're great. And they've already paid for the mold, haven't they? So
yeah.
Cool. Right. Exciting times in the Galaxy of War, but it's also exciting times in the Mortal Realms.
It is.
So I want to go there now. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course it is.
Oh, the phone's beeping. Hello? Well, that was Ghosts in the Machine.
Hi guys, and we are in the Mortal Realms. I'm not going to do a wonderful, mysterious introduction like Dan because I just don't have the voice for it.
Yes, you do.
No,
you do.
Don't.
Anyway, I'm not really interested in long introductions because I'm so excited. Down in that picture, flipping two-handed sword elves.
And this is why, because he just interrupts you within a few seconds.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear it, do they? Really?
No.
Oh my gosh, that dude with the bow, what's he called? Severith, Lord of the Seventh Wind.
Yeah.
Oh, they are so good, man. Those two-handed sword silhouette guys. Oh,
yeah. I'm really excited.
Whoa. I've just noticed in the video the silhouette of another guy up on the wind, which was different.
I think we're going to see little bits of them released over the next couple of months. So we've had the kangaroo dudes as well.
Oh yeah,
which would have been previewed
yeah.
today.
Look, that guy's like completely different pose. Oh,
Probably build it from the same box.
yeah, probably actually, probably like a different one. Yeah.
So it looks like we've got some swordsmen like instead of the hammer guys.
Yeah.
There looks like there's a wizard in there.
Yeah.
Of some description, mage, whatever you call it. There's the fox-like dudes, which I think is instead of the mountain bulls. The demigods. There's the riders on the kangaroos, which when I first saw, I got to say, I was a bit like, But when you got them front on, and they're all sort of coming towards you, it reminded me of that bit in Jurassic Park, where the big runny dinosaurs, that begin with G, and I knew them as a kid, but I don't know them anymore, are running towards them. It reminded me of that, so I kind of fallen in love with him a little bit too.
I'm preferring from the silhouettes, mind, the helmets on the sword guys.
Mm-hmm.
I less kind of horn, more still ornate, but not big horns. So I'm really liking that. And yes, I think you make a really good point about the dinosaur thing, because it's actually almost kind of a shame. Even Warhammer Community
linked them to
kangaroos.
I think that was because what people were saying about them when the potato pictures came out the day before.
Yeah. But equally, they've also they are painted in sort of an organic-y, obviously, in like a fur colour, which also links you to. But so my sort of image, I must admit, not quite as terrifying, although still quite a frightening thing. I thought more like ostriches running. Where I was. I do think it would be great to see some with lances. But they're brilliant. And I love that other creature, the one that the guy's riding.
Yes.
The character one.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think awesome. A bipedal one might possibly be more stable for firing from the back of than a quadruped. Yeah. At full tilt.
We need James back, don't we, to talk about running animals.
We do need him back to talk about running animals. But I think that they're great. I think that you're going to get some real diversity in that army now. And I kind of also, there's a lot of like Oriental myth and culture references going on in these. Like the bowmen have got the longer bow arm at the top than the bottom, which is very reminiscent of the Japanese horse archers. And I think that's where they've got the helmet design from, because samurai helmets do have like those ornate, and there's almost certainly a name for them, but the crests on the front that are quite extravagant to mark them out on the battlefield.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they've gone with this. They've just done a Warhammer on it and turned it up to 11.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course. And so the next book is Teclis.
Yeah. Do you reckon we're going to have a Sigma?
I'm so excited. Oh, God, I hadn't even thought of that. I hadn't even thought of that, dude. Sigma.
Are we just going to go through we can have a Gorka Morka. A Gorka Morka with a Gorka Morka.
What they should do if they do Gorka Morka, right, is they should totally do it like a double cover. So, like, one side is Gork and then they flip it over and it's Mork.
Yeah.
And it works that way. That would be ace.
They need to do like a big destruction god, don't they? Like, because everyone else has got a god, in fairness, or a embodiment of a god, like a greater demon, or an actual god like Teclis, Solario, and Marathi.
I'd quite like them to do like Grungni. That would be sweet.
Oh yeah.
Well, they're going to do Malarian. I'm sure they'll do Malarian.
Grung, having a dwarf who's like not much bigger than like Gotrek's model, but like just biffed out on like some just like epic rock base or something, like a rock base, or riding on some massive ass dragon.
He'd probably have an anvil.
Being carried by dragons.
Yeah. Yeah.
An anvil forged into the back of a dragon. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll do Tyrion then.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It's so good, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is.
Oh.
It is. It is like
in the preview. What was the thing that was like the surprise? Oh, the Warhammer quest that we haven't got to talk about yet.
Yeah, I only think. Well, the only thing that bugs me about this a little bit is that there's now almost as many models has been released for Lumineth Realm Lords as there was at the release of Lumineth Realm Lords. They need a new codex already. And I'm not even joking. There's now more models released than there was in the original. So,
but then, I guess
it makes you wonder if this was not all going to be released last year.
Yeah, quite possibly. But then it's difficult, isn't it? Because like, if they bought, you don't want a new army book every year. At least this way with Techless, you know, there's more to it than just
Yeah.
And you do have the app.
Yeah, it's true. I do get what you're saying. But I mean, you're going to have a whole section of rules on building an air army now.
Yeah. They're going to be Lumineth Realm Lords, Cities of Sigmar, Maggotkin, Flesh Eater Courts, and Ossiarch Bone Reaper rules in there.
Yeah, bit of mix. Maggotkin in a book with that cover just doesn't seem right, does it?
Doesn't, no.
No.
It doesn't. It doesn't. To like put a plaster on it in the corner or something, just to make it fit. But yeah.
So should we talk about the game system that no,
because we aren't quite there yet, because we've still got the Daughters of Cain spells.
All right. Okay. Yeah. They've released Daughters of Cain spells. Right. Let's talk about this.
No, because you love that.
The snake is amazing.
That Blood Viper thing is great, isn't it?
You could buy that to put in as an enemy in the Dungeons and Dragons RPG. Easy. It's just awesome. Mm-hmm. You could mount some evil like Blood Knight or something on the back of it, and that would work as well. There's so much potential with it. It's just fab. It's just fab.
Yeah, it is really cool. I like it a lot. A lot. And the heart. That makes me think of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Kalimar!
Yeah.
Aces. Cool. Right, now we can talk about what you want to talk about.
Underworlds.
Oh!
I look forward to the new Underworlds releases. I don't play Underworlds. I bought all the games just to get the gangs because the little warbands are just magnificent. I cannot think of one that I don't like. But this one's top 3 easily. The new Vampires one is just every single one of those is a character model. Like an army leading character model.
And I love that they all play on the tropes from the Vampires, like originally.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's quite... I guess she's not overly Lamian, actually, is she? Because she's more kind of brutal looking, maybe. Well, I suppose they were when they went into their mode. The big guy with the mace looks very Von Carstein feel.
Yeah.
The guy with the wings, he's really interesting, actually, because he's not like completely gone beast mode, but he has got wings. But my favourite by far, my standout, is the guy in the red armour.
Yeah,
that is just so good. And I just read the new Vampire Warband is all about aggression, but can come with heavy penalties if you don't control their hunger. And when we say control their hunger, we don't mean with a sandwich.
They're magnificent.
They are so wonderful.
And they really excite me that, although we haven't seen anything more about the Kurnoth Hunters, but these little seeds are there if they ever wanted to grow them. And that's amazing.
Oh, you mean the Kurnothi? The
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've probably got the wrong name. It doesn't surprise me if it did. But This as well. I mean, I had heard rumours that there was going to be an army to go with these. Might possibly still be, but they're just brilliant.
They are, aren't they? They are. They are so stupendous. Aeneas Curseborn, Gorath, the Enforcer, Prince Duval. He is awesome. He is awesome. Velas von Fane. That's just... Oh, man. They're lovely, aren't they?
And then as if that wasn't enough, Vampire Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
They've announced the next Warhammer quest.
This is what I wanted, man. This is what I wanted so much.
And it's got so many overtones.
I think when we said when we did that thing about what would we like to see, actually, I think we both said Warhammer quest. Like, oh, mate. Oh, it's so awesome. And look at those characters. I mean...
Yeah, so Gorslav Gravekeeper is one of the... is horrendous.
It is horrendous. I'll tell you what it reminds me of is the Gaunt Summoner head, but also then linked in with that thing from Pan's Labyrinth with his head as well.
Yeah.
It's just
actually the thing that it screamed Silent Hill to me the first time I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just horrible. It's really horrible.
It is. Have you clicked on the website?
No. Is he Death or is he Chaos?
I think it's Death.
He's got that funny sort of scar on his right chest, though. That could be a Chaos star.
He is well, maybe he is a Gaunt Summoner that's like died and been risen again.
Gone a bit wrong.
Gone a bit wibbly. But because he's a grave keeper guy and he buries people alive.
Does he?
Yeah, he's horrible. He's horrible. And that witch hunter guy is a legend looking.
Yeah.
He's an outcast from the Order of Azir.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why is he an outcast?
It doesn't say. It says they don't know. It says he's called Jelson Darroch. Is a one-man death squad with a merciless streak a mile wide. He was once part of the Order of Azir, a well-known and fearsome hunter of witches, aethergeists, and cultists of the dark gods. Though his conduct saw him expelled, the exact reason remains a guarded secret. As mean as Darroch, they used to say back in the Order. Trust me, boy, they don't know the half of it. Morals are for the weak. And then the overlords of Ulfkhan, which is the dead side, Gorslav the Gravekeeper. This gaunt and towering creature tends the crypts and charnel pits of Ulfkhan corpse gardens. Silently he toils away in his unhallowed domain, ignoring the screaming terror of his victims as he buries them alive beneath mounds of cold grave soil. Well, that gives you the willies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh. And then there's like a little quote and it says, when ye hear the scraping of old Gorslav on his walk, the only sound he ever makes, for he ain't one to talk. Flee then, fool, and hide away, and hope he don't come take ye, and bind your arms, and drag ye off to bury ye awake ye.
It's like an old Cornish poem.
Yeah. So yeah, that's quite cool. And there's a little map as well, which you can click on different bits of it, and it tells you about them. So Geistgale, which is a gate, and Van Elton's Sky Docks. The Clot, a canal. This canal is now clogged by dried gore and is home to many carrion horrors. Sounds nice, doesn't it?
I'll tell you one thing for free with this one. Yeah. I will be getting the expansions the moment they come out, because they came and went so quickly with Blackstone.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's very exciting, isn't it? Very, very exciting. Super models. Really nice preview.
There's two of the best models I think they've done in ages, and that's saying something. That
they're just full of character, aren't they?
Yeah, that X Inquisitor
He's
is
brilliant.
is great, isn't he?
I bet Henry Cavill buys him and paints him.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah, his ace. Yeah, so yeah, what a set of miniatures. Really exciting. Really exciting, isn't it? So we've got the Head Knights of Slaanesh are also coming out. We discussed them last time with James, but they're coming out at the same time as the Daughters of Cain. So that's going to be exciting. That would just, I'm not sure if it would be useful or inconvenient to have a snake tail instead of legs. It's a bit.
I would almost certainly get my ass trapped in something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You would, wouldn't you? You would.
Like leave it out the car door when I closed it or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Should we head on into the community?
I think so. This has gone a bit weird now. Contemplating snake tails. Yes. Forward.
Hail, glorious community.
I went for a bit more of the deep tone there. Don't know why really. But anyway, thank you for joining us in the community section. And today we go back to our traditional shout outs. Ben has bombarded me with awesomeness, as he often does. So, Mr. Hall, which link shall I click on first?
Shall we start off with Journey to the Warp?
I think we shall. I shall click on it.
Journey to the Warp, all one word, on Instagram.
Oh, great, look. It's not working.
Got 'em up. So, Journey to the Warp, I have been following this chap for a while, but I really love the realism that this guy gets into his Space Marines. The weathering is absolutely on point. There's a sort of a cleanliness that's there, but there's sort of a neatness to it, I should say. It's weathering done with intent. And as a result, they look fantastic. But one of the things I really like about them is he uses injuries a lot, which I suppose I'd never really thought about, which might sound a bit daft, but blood coming from someone's nose or a bloodied eye or a cut on the forehead, it adds so much character to a model that's weathered. Isn't going to have a perfectly pretty face. There's going to be sort of battle injury going on.
Yeah.
We know a Space Marine blood clots in seconds, fine. But they're still going to have, if it gets smashed in the nose, they're still going to have blood pouring down their nose for a couple of seconds. That's going to create a mess. And I just think it works so well with the overall aesthetic of the models. I think it's fantastic. And I've pinched a little bit of it on my Space Force heads recently to try and sort of. I've got one guy with a big swollen eye, cuts on the foreheads, that kind of stuff, and I'm intending to sort of use it more and more. It's also an injury or weathering is a really cool way of hiding mistakes when you're moving quickly through a unit, batch painting a unit. And being able to do that on skin, I think, is really helpful. Really, really helpful, actually. And there's loads of things that I think you could apply it to, like giants and that kind of thing. I've already done bruising and cuts on my giants before, but I really like it. The other thing I really like, and there's a few people I've noticed doing it, is converting the Death Guard models into Space Marines by filling in the gaps.
Oh, yeah.
Really like it, actually. He's got a couple on there where he's done that. Yeah, banging. Love it. So that's my first one. My next one, I'm going to save my favourite for last. I think I'm going to go for a couple of terrain ones. So Sol Vince.
Right.
Sol Vince has been doing.
Oh my goodness!
Absolutely brilliant, like stuff with paint peeling and chipping.
Oh, yeah.
For his scenery, and the textures he gets on his stuff is incredible. But there is very few scenery accounts that are better than this guy's. He not only posts things like, check out these photographs that I've been using for inspiration, but he posts the buildings that he's constructed. It's amazing. It really, really is amazing.
Really good stuff here, isn't there?
And
very atmospheric.
At the moment, I think he's working on something called a sump hive, like an underwater hive or underground hive. He posted a picture. Yeah, he posted a picture of what it might look like a little bit of way back. I think it's fantastic, and I spend an awful lot of time poring over the details of his models.
Yeah,
it's exactly as I want my Necromunda stuff to look.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
Yeah,
really good. Very nice.
And the paint peeling, it actually looks like it's flaking off. I mean, I get the concept of chipping. I get that, but when you've got it so it looks like the paint is sort of bubbling up, like it's about to come off, I just don't understand how he's done it. I really don't understand how he's done it.
No.
Baffles me a little bit, but it's exciting. So I'm hoping that there'll be tutorials along the way at some point. But the second one for the scenery is Rapid Tabletop. Now, we've actually mentioned this guy before when we picked up his posts on Facebook, but he does little sections based on the Zone Mortalis board sections. And he builds
yeah.
And so you can piece them all together. And he's got like massive cranes and train stations and relay towers and water flows. He mounts almost all of his board sections on a bit of foam so you can get depth into them too.
Yeah.
And he's just started to do tutorial videos. Watched one of them today. Really, really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing I love about it is it's modular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really like it.
It's really good. Really good. Very nice.
So that's Rapid_Tabletop.
Yes.
And the last guy was Sol_Vince. They were all on Instagram. And then next is a couple of Space Wolf ones. So I've got Radicraft. RADDI Craft, all one word. And he's been doing sculpty Space Wolves and painting them. And I can only envy how fast he paints his Space Wolves. When he gets going, they just churning them out. Love it. But I like a lot of what he does, like taking really simple techniques and creating excellent looks out of it. Like the leather, for example, which he's just posted a video on how to do. His yellow, he gets a fantastic smooth transition on his yellow that I really love. And I love the colour of it. But yeah, loads of cool stuff on there if you're a Space Wolves fan.
I'm sorry, dude. Which one was that? I don't know if I've got the right one.
Radicraft.
Oh, right. No, I didn't. Oh, yes. Oh. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I like the shield on the blade guard there.
Yeah, that's one of the shields from the Grey... Not the Grey Hunters, the Grey Slayers pack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see that now, yeah.
It's a nice shield.
What's that thing? It's annoying on the app for Instagram because you can't get things up, like to look at them really close. On the iPad, anyway. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Oh,
Next one
mate,
is-
have you seen the Primaris? Sorry, well, it is Primaris, obviously, but the Psyker
Yeah, it's great.
with
Really,
the glowing eyes.
yeah,
That's excellent.
really fantastic.
Cool.
He's got a Necron sword as well.
Cool.
That he's pinched. Yeah, one of the things he's done recently with the Psyker is put the wolf spirit wrapping around his legs.
Mm.
Like, sorry, Radicraft, I'm stealing that. It's just happening. It's just so good. Really, really good. Love that idea. Amazing. And then next is someone I know that we've shouted at before, but he's just got such a fantastic Space Wolves collection that he's been really inspirational to me recently, is Uplander. I first sort of saw it's Pete Whitlam, Pete's work for 30k, and he's sort of transferred a lot of that aesthetic into 40k. I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it. I love the white creamy white, along with like the Space Wolves grey and the gold. It's wonderful. And I love the tone of gold he's got, that kind of almost pale gold.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, so it's a great overall sort of colour palette that I just love. And it makes me want to pick up those bloody Forge World Space Wolf transfers because he just makes them look amazing.
Oh, they're lovely. Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah, you need those.
I just don't want to use them for 40k because I'm going to use them for 30k.
Yeah.
I don't want to do them both. But yeah, lovely army coming together. It's done a great conversion of a Redemptor Dreadnought recently too, which someone's just painted up almost instantaneously. It's like he just put it on his table, looked at it, and went paint, and it's got painted. It's so fast. Aces though, lovely. And then finally, is the account key K03RNL. I'm not sure if that's supposed to spell something, but it's Christoph Kiel, and he's a grimdark painter, and he's recently done a diorama of the front cover of the 3rd edition rulebook, The Black Templars by John Blanche, and it's absolutely bloody brilliant. So it's all converted Primaris. You've got things like left-handed heavy bolters, left-handed bolt guns. Every character from the original piece has been sort of recreated, and there's great posts where he's got like the character that he's copying, behind, and the guys in front. He's used some great ideas, like the Terminator. He's put Gravis legs and then stuck like Terminator upper body on it. And it works so well. I can't believe someone hasn't thought of it already.
Mm.
It just looks amazing. And it's him that I stole the warmer black paint scheme from. And I just love it, mate. It's one of the best dioramas I've seen in years.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And he released it just at the start of this year, like over the Christmas holidays. And it was just a perfect way to start the hobby for the year, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? His account's really good. It's got loads of great stuff on it.
Yeah, it is. I think his use of textures is what really inspires me.
Yeah.
Like, it's sometimes really hard, I think, to get contrast into grimdark.
Mm.
I think it's really tough because a lot of it's desaturated, and for good reason. But somehow he manages to do it. So even when a model is really, really dark, like for example his Iron Warriors, which are, by the time you've got a dirty gold next to a dirty metal, next to a dirty yellow and a dirty black, it's really hard to, but somehow they all come together in his models, and I just think it's fantastic. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I spend a lot of time looking at his stuff and thinking, which bits of that could I steal for the next army that I do? It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love him. I love his work a lot. I don't love him. I've never met him, but I love this account. It's been I've been going back to it almost daily now for 3 weeks. So I would strongly recommend. All of those accounts are fantastic. So if you want to go and follow them, I think that's awesome, because realistically everyone needs a bit of more hobby love. And there's so many accounts that I just sort of saunter through and think, how has this person only got like 400 likes, 400 account follows? There shouldn't be. There should be thousands of people wanting to see this.
Yeah.
None of these are having any trouble, I don't think. I think they're all got plenty of followers, but they all deserve many more than they've got. They deserve every good bit of good that comes to them. So please go and follow them, like them, show some love.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been quite excited to talk about the hobby group this time around, because I've seen some really cool stuff as I've been following it through. I said to you just now, I've had a bit of a purge of Facebook groups. Everyone does it from time to time, has a sudden attack of the, oh my goodness, social media is driving me insane. So I got out of loads of them because I'm just fed up of the kind of negativity. But I've what that means, and what's really cool about that is I see stuff from our group popping up all the time. So Bobby Clark has done Slime Arbo. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Really cool. I love the skin tones on it, and and these little camo trousers are really well done as well. So I really like that.
It's been great having Bobby Clark into the group. He's Red Eagle Studios, which is a commission painting group.
Yeah,
and the work he's been posting into the hobby group is fantastic. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really great, and
Slime Arbo is amazing.
Yeah. The problem is, makes me want to paint him, but there we are. So
we'll paint him then.
No, I've got too much else to do, dude. I've got too much to... Right, James, she's right. Prolific poster of awesome. Done a bust. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Bust.
It's going around that
Very
bust
cool.
at the moment. So whoever sculpted it, kudos, because it's nice.
It's a 3D print.
Yeah, so yeah. Whoever's done the STL for it, sweet. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? It's really cool. So yeah, I like that a lot. Very much so. But I do have a bone to pick with did you see that Russ Priest is celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the Squig Dice?
Yeah, because the Squig Dice are one of the best things that Games Workshop have ever released.
Yeah, all right. Then,
In fact, there is a video on Facebook of me getting ridiculously excited.
Yeah. So, Mike M, stop posting awesome pictures of stuff that I want to do, because it's distracting me. I love this Norman band. Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're Normans.
Oh, shut up. Flipping heck. Just because they don't have horns on their helmets.
What?
Sorry, I can't help myself.
We're not doing that.
Are we not?
No. We're not going there. Horns on helmets nonsense in this podcast. No.
No. We know.
No, I mean, I agree though. It is a fabulous looking warband, Mike. It is absolutely banging. And apart from the fact that every time I see it, I want to caps lock Godwinson under every post of it. But I won't, because I don't want to distract from how awesome it is. It is awesome. It's very, very good.
Yeah, really ace. And also, thank you to flipping heck, Dan. My organisation support. That's right, Martin Dawkins, for sharing his first post. So awesome, which is some pictures of a Dune board from at Salute one year. I can't remember the year, to be honest, either, but it is very cool. Did you see that?
I didn't, and I'm now desperately trying to find it.
You're now going to look for it. Yeah, it's sweet, man. It's like retro looking. So painting competition. Cut off date for the painting competition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Oh, that's ace. And they've got the Atreides holding the... Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, please don't release a Dune model range.
You know it's going to... You know Modiphius are going to do some Dune models.
Oh.
Aren't they?
Yeah. Do you know what I hope they could go for the aesthetic, the newer aesthetic, because as much as I love the Dune films, little things like the Sardaukar having like the green weird sort of biochemical suits just look odd, without the green grey, and the omnicopters, whatever they're called, were rubbish in the film. The ones with the wings, so they actually have wings.
Painting competition. Cut-off date is the 31st of January, guys. It's great to see. There was loads of response to the original post. I've now put it in the announcements. I thought I'd done that, but I hadn't. So I put it in the announcements, so it's up the top.
What are we going to do for the next one?
Well, it's going to be one of the hobby bingos. So this one is any model.
Mm-hmm.
So having a look at the hobby bingo. Let's go and find the hobby bingo, shall we? Go, go, hobby bingo. So, I tell you what. Have you got a dice to hand?
Yeah, somewhere. I'm surrounded by my hobby, so I must have a dice.
I would hope you have. I would hope you have. I'll just do some suspense music while we're waiting for you.
A dice.
Right, roll the dice. You re-roll a 6.
4.
A 4, okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and then roll the dice again.
2.
Unit of 2 or more models.
Ooh.
It's going to be the next one. So
Unit of 2 or more models.
Unit of 2 or more models. Very technical way of working that out. Yeah, so thank you to those of you that have been posting up your progress. Luke Skywalker's coming along, which is my one, so I need to make sure I finish him off and get him on there as well. So you've got until the 31st. So what are we now? Oh right, yeah. So this will come out on the Wednesday. So you'll have about 3 days left when you listen to this. So you better get cracking.
You can pay a model in a day.
Oh yeah, of course you can.
Sort of.
Cool. All that really remains to be said in the community section is, once again, with the lockdown, please make sure you're supporting your local stockists or the places you would normally go and game. Most now are doing, click and collect or post stuff to you, various things like that. So just make sure you're looking after them, guys, because they will be there. You want them to be there when they open.
Yeah.
When they open again, when this madness ends. I need to go to Warhammer World, man. I can't believe it's been so long.
It's worth putting this into context. Every year since we've started this podcast, in fact, since the year before we started this podcast, we've gone to Warhammer World for our birthday. And this is the first year. We've even booked a bloody week off to do it.
Yeah.
So we've both got next week off, and we can't do it. Can't even go and see each other. So it's on the scheme of all the crap that's happened over the last year, it's not much, but it's just another reminder.
Yeah.
Let's
not get miserable. Let's not get miserable. There's still lots to be excited about. So yes, support the place you want to go and play, so it's still there when it reopens.
And patrons. Don't forget patrons.
Yeah, don't forget
Great
patrons.
For supporting these people. There's almost every company is doing some form of Patreon, and it's a great way to just help them along.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did sign up to Little Legends Patreon after he came on, and honestly, it's been worth every penny.
Yeah.
Just for the record, it's great.
Yeah.
And the same with Co-op Paint.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're the two that we're currently putting money into. And they're both painting-wise just gems.
Oh, There's loads of great ones out there, pretty much for anything that you could want, really, isn't there? Whatever you want to know about.
Yeah.
Know about.
The only problem is that genuinely I could follow so many people. It would be my hobby budget for the year spent per month.
Yeah,
without any hassle at all.
Me too. Right.
Shall we move into the wilds?
Wild!
Do we have any idea what we're talking about?
Absolutely none, but we will by the time we get to there. Let's go for a time warp.
Hi guys, and welcome to Into the Wilds. And we're going to do something that we haven't done before, which may be limiting in some ways to the people that find it interesting, but realistically, it's just a cool thing as well. We're going to look at a company who are doing one of the sort of 3D printer STL releases, which is something we've avoided talking about in the past, only because, like I just said, it could limit the people who get any value out of it. But nowadays, one of the things that I found that I personally think makes these more interesting to everybody is that if you own an STL file, you can get that printed by so many people now. There are people out there who will do it for you if you contact them, and the price will not be extortionate. So it is, if you're interested, a really good sort of thing to have. This is a pack called Orconspiracy, which is a play on the words of Orc and Conspiracy, but it's done by Loot Studios, and it's a membership thing. But to start with, you get a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there's tons of models in here, Dan, isn't there? There's like your introductory pack is 56 models. Which includes a whole bunch of orc characters, a whole bunch of adventurers. There's busts of the adventurers. It's very Dungeons and Dragons. So one of the things I've been looking for some time is a printable pack or a place to go to get characters to print for people to roleplay with. And there's loads in here, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get more to fill all the gaps. So there's a tiefling sorcerer, halfling rogue, human bard. There's werebore, trolls. There's a dragon, which is just amazing.
Yeah, that dragon is excellent.
There's a wizard lady. There's a whole pack of orc scenery. And my favourite bit is the tavern set, the welcome pack tavern miniatures. And so it's got a bar, a couple of tables, food and stuff to go onto the tables. It's got chairs, stools, chests, fireplace, barrels, ale casks, loads of stuff, and guys to go in it. So there's a sort of six character pack with wizard. There's a dragonborn by the look of it, which just looks incredible. Yes. There's a guy called Johnny Trinity that looks like a sort of a rogue witch huntery kind of guy. There's a half orc. There's an unbelievably cool dwarf, and then there's the barkeeper, bards, a mysterious man who looks like Strider from Lord of the Rings, sat in the corner. There's a blacksmith. Oh, there's just so much in there, and the sculpts look great. Love the aesthetic of them, and I think the opening pack 56 models for $15. I mean, you have to print them, admittedly, but
it's good though, isn't it? Yeah. It's in its last days now, so you got to move quickly if you're going for it.
Yeah. I think that's worth knowing. So it's actually £18 a month because you haven't put the VAT on. which I suppose is the problems with international selling. So it's $15 plus $3 VAT if you're in the UK. Well, whatever percentage of your VAT will depend on what country you're in. So, but I think the proof will be in the pudding with this sort of thing, Dan. So I think the key for me is whether or not you can duck out at any point.
Yeah, it says you can if you email them.
And so that's fine, isn't it? If you can duck out at any point, if you find that in month 1 you get all of that stuff, brilliant. That's absolutely spanking value for money. But then if month 2 and 3 are a bit naff, you can go, nah, I'm all right. The cool thing about these models that I don't think I've seen that often is that they are printable in 32 or 75 mil.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of detail in them. If you can get the models up to 75 mil and they've still got that level of detail, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Great. They do look really good. I'd certainly be interested to see what it's like as well. I mean, I think because I've only printed War Master, it would be interesting to then have a go at printing something bigger because the time frame is going to be a lot longer.
Yeah.
For a start, it takes around an hour and 20 minutes to print a War Master. Do a War Master print. So that's only 10 mils high, plus a weapon or whatever. So, you're going to be talking 4 or 5 hours, I would imagine.
Yeah, but you could stick like at least 6 characters on a plate, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could get a few on. Yeah, I mean, it's not a problem. But certainly if we end up looking like the bigger pieces terrain and all.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to want an FDM printer, really.
Oh, no, I have every intention of trying to make you print the Watchtower. Yeah, so one of the sets in it is a set of orc scenery, which is one of the reasons I got interested in it, because there's a couple of wicked huts and a watchtower, a wagon and a throne and a couple of flags and like weapons caches. That's good. Real good.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's definitely worth looking at, and I would definitely say to people, if you see any good ones, let us know, because that's one thing. There's so many out there, like between Patreon and all the other bits and bobs.
Yeah, there is. Sometimes hard. I sometimes struggle to find them again as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you've seen them and think, oh, that's brilliant, and then there's so many like 3D printed things that I've seen in the past and thought, oh, I'd love that, but I don't have a 3D printer. And now I'm desperately trying to remember them and I can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the thing I like about this as well is it's not, and this is going to sound terrible, and I'm not criticizing anyone who uses this as a method to launch their product, but it's not Kickstarter. It's a subscription. It's done. It's there. So if I pay my $15, 15 quid it would be, I will get that.
Yeah.
I will get that straight away.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that as well. Right.
Short and sweet. Anything else?
Short and sweet. No. Not that I can think of right now. But
I've got a little thing to add on to last week. I thought, what better way to reread Dune than to sit and listen to it while I was painting? So I bought the Audible Dune. It's a cracking good reading. The person who's reading it's done an ace job, and it's just so nice to be able to sit and listen to it while I'm painting. So I'm really enjoying that. And there's so many things I've forgotten. That's the problem when you read these books when you're like young, like in your teenagers sort of years. I've just forgotten so much of it because my version of Dune had become the film.
Yeah,
and I've watched the film.
Lord of the Rings is the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a shame because, like, I'd forgotten, for example, that the weirding modules was something he created for the film. It's got nothing to do with the books. So I think it's really cool being able to. I used to laugh at you for audiobooks, and I apologise wholeheartedly, because the ability to sit and paint and listen to a book is doubling up on time.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I did it.
Bang for your buck.
Yeah. And also, like, if you're driving,
yeah,
really good.
If I could paint two models at the same time, I'd do it.
Yeah.
If I could watch a film and pay attention to the film and paint a model, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But you can listen to a book and paint. So I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
A lot more than I used to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Really, really good of you. As always, we are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. At the Two Piece Podcast on those. And
Facebook.
also,
Did it say Facebook?
did I say Facebook? I don't know.
We
have a hobby group on Facebook as well. So look that up and come join us there. And if you are in the group, please post. We love seeing the stuff. Thank you to all of those of you that do. It's really, really cool. But yeah, jump on in, get involved in the hobby group. You'd be very, very, very welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time we have a treat. We got Rob Ellis on from Pro Painted, the creator of that wonderful Archeon Bellacore conversion that is just wonderful. And he's going to be joining us next time to ramble through Hobby 2.
Aces. Cool.
Aces.
Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dan.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
What a swish ending. We've done well there.
Seamless. Practiced.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.